Hello everyone, Noto Addiction speaking here, and in today's video we're going to discuss how being a compulsive gambler almost destroyed my life. So I've made many videos on here, and I talk about gambling all the time, but I'm going to tell you right now and get into the mind state of how I was as a compulsive gambler. So I really just started my day always thinking about the casino. I used to go to this casino where I play at the fish tables, and we betted money per click. Per click, we shooting out monsters, so it almost felt like a video game. On top of us gambling our money, so my whole mind was obsessed with the fact of going up there and playing and tapping at the machines to try to win money. First off, it's because of being like financially ungrateful. Pretty much, I had a pretty decent job, had my own, spot and stuff like that. I was making pretty decent money, but I just wasn't satisfied. I wanted to play on top of the dopamine effect from playing and winning and stuff like that. It didn't really seem too harmful at first. So you just started going more and more. I started going more and more. Didn't think anything of it. Wasn't losing too much at first, and just started playing. And then what I did was started winning big amounts of money. So once I started winning big amounts of money, I'm thinking I'm on top of the world. I'm thinking, oh yeah, yeah, I'm getting this. I'm winning so much. I won about a good up to about 5 grand. I won about up to 5 grand off the start and off of like $350, something like that around those times. So I was always just feeling like I was always gonna be on top. But my thing is I went in there and started trying to act like a high roller. So, as time went on, I kept on trying to, you know, go up there and double down on that, double down on that. Oh yeah, I'm the man. I kept walking in there like I'm the man. So I kept tapping out my money, kept tapping out my money. Next thing you know, the 5 grand was gone on top of more money that I had saved. And then it got to the point where I started dipping into my paychecks. My paychecks started going. You see what I'm saying? When your paychecks start going, that's when you know, like, dang, what's going on with this? My paychecks is going. So it's like every day was started to be consumed with what can I go into the game room and win? That's what we call it. We call it the game room. Some people call it a casino. Some call it whatever. See, me, I gambled in person. I didn't do it on my phone and stuff like that. I gambled in person. So it was more of an effect. And we played with cash. So you can actually see the cash leaving your hand. Like we would go in there with like a certain amount of cash. You put it into a machine. We play, you tap at it and stuff like that. So there's a lot of hand to cash transactions from you to the machine and stuff like that, right? So you should see the money going in, going in, going in. You playing, right? You're going up and down in the numbers. You're going up and down. It's just a crazy dopamine effect, right? And it just feel like, okay, it just feels like it almost feels like it feels like a high. It feels like a high. So it kept me coming back, even though it got to the point where I was losing paychecks. But I was like, okay, I'm gonna use the next paycheck to get this get this money back, and then I'm going to go to the casino to try to double up on this money to be able to pay back the money that I lost last week, the week before last, and stuff like that. So that cycle got me going back and forth, chasing the losses that I had. So chasing the losses was one of the big components that led me almost to ruin, like complete ruin. Like I damn near reached rock bottom with this. But this is what really like put me way down this ruin, because chasing those losses, because it made me go and get loans and stuff like that, like payday loans, in order to play as gambling money, and now end up losing the payday loan money on top of losing next month's check. So I lost the money for my check and the next month's check as well, on top of like still wanting to gamble even more money. So I lost all the money, so I had to wait. I'm pretty much working for free for the whole week, and the week after that, I remember the time that I lost my entire check plus my overtime hours. I never forget that one. That was the biggest check I got from that particular facility, and I lost that money. So a lot doing all this perpetual cycle of chasing losses, winning and losing, and all this other stuff. Me just going back every day and being a compulsive gambler, you don't really register in your mind that something's like really wrong. All you're trying to do is just try to get the money back. That's all your mind is on when you're being in the mind of a compulsive gambler. You don't really see the problem of going up to gamble. You're just saying, oh, it just wasn't your day. Oh, it just wasn't you know this, it wasn't for me this time, and I'll win it back, I'll get it back. We always have that I'll get it back mentality, and that's what put us deeper and deeper into the hole. That's what put me deeper and deeper into the hole. And then on top of that, going home, having those very, very depressing nights after losing and just thinking like, dang man, how can I do this? How can I do this? Man, I'm not gonna do this no more. And then when I go back to work and I start making some more money, as soon as the paycheck get in my hand, all that stuff, that all that turmoil, all that heartache and all that stuff from the losses from that, no, those nights and depression, because I had time to recover mentally because I wasn't able to go to the casino because I didn't have any money. So you're thinking, okay, yeah, I'm gonna do right with the money. I'm gonna do good. I'm gonna do okay. And then you have time because you're spending time away from it, but you're still kind of thinking about it. The closer you get to the money, the more you're thinking about what you want to do with the money. See, at the beginning of the week, this is how it would go. Okay, I'll lose money that night. It will be like, oh man, dang man, I can't believe I lost that money. And then it'll go to like, let's say that I lost the money Sunday night. Okay, go to work on Monday. Okay, dang man, I'm still bummed out about it. Tuesday, okay, a little bummed out about it. Wednesday, okay, I'm okay. I'm okay. Yeah, I'm on my mission. I'm gonna do right this time. Thursday, yeah, I'm gonna do okay. Because but you get paid every Friday. Now you thinking on Friday, you're like, dang, okay, I'm gonna think what I'm gonna do with my money. I'm gonna do with my money. Okay, I'm just gonna take just a little bit to the casino and see if I can win a little bit back, but I'm not gonna do it. But end up taking my whole check, losing it again. That's kind of cycle I was in. So this ended up inevitably making me. At first it started with my light bill. I couldn't really pay my light bill at first. I mean, yeah, I was behind on my rent one time, and I had to get an extension. That's when I knew that things was to start. That was the first strike for me, about to lose my place and stuff like that. So I ended up losing my apartment because apparently I ended up gambling too much, and then like I just wasn't able to pay the rent. Wasn't able to do that. So I was like, hey, I'm just gonna have to leave because I'm just not able to pay the rent. So it ended up leaving me with no place to stay. Had to come back and move with people and stuff like that. And I was thinking like, dang, I really could have just kept this place if I just stayed the heck out of here and just being financially responsible. But the mind of a compulsive gambler and being financially responsible just doesn't coincide. It doesn't coexist. It just doesn't coexist. And then you don't want to tell people anything about how you lost it. They're like, dang, you got your place still? Or what's going on with that? Because people always be checking on you. You don't want to tell them exactly how you lost your place. You just be like, oh, I just decided to leave and stuff. Almost like you're lying, but you just don't want to tell them the full truth really either. So it's like, yeah, I don't really want to tell them that I lost it because I was gambling and I didn't have enough money to pay the rent. I'm not gonna just tell them all. I ain't gonna give them that whole spiel. One, I don't think they're gonna say it. They're probably gonna laugh at me, look at, oh, the heck, now, like, what's wrong with you? Like, how could you do that? And face that ridicule from people that just don't understand what you're really going through. Not that you really care, because like I say, even as a compulsive gambler, even after I came back and lost my place after all that, I'm still thinking about what my next bet gonna be. You see what I mean? Like, as a compulsive gambler, you don't have the rationality of thinking that, okay, what's going around, everything is being torn down around you because of your decisions you're making financially and you're betting your money. You're not thinking about that. What you're thinking about is, how am I going to come up and get all this money back that I lost? And you're never going to get it back. Most likely, like, I'm talking about, like, there's chances 0.00001 like type chances that you're going to get all the money back that you ever lost. So you have to let that go. But I wasn't willing to let that go. So I almost let it ruin my life, because everything I thought about was about trying to get the next bet, was trying to get the more money. And I just wasn't grateful that I was making enough money, and to the point where even when people lent me money, people was trying to help me out, I was gambling the money that people was trying to help me out with. I was in crazy debt because of the money I was gambling. I was gambling the money that I was getting loaned and all that stuff. So I was in double, triple debt, on top of having to work for free for a couple weeks at work, from time to time, because I lost the money. It was been times where I come up and I'm like, okay, yeah, we good. But you got to remember that you don't just erase the times that you lost. You say you never erase those times that you lost. So, but the thing is, we have this clean slate mentality. When we go back to the casino and we go back and bet again, we'll make it seem like we never lost before. And whenever we have a new win, but we've already like $4,000 in the hole, $4,000 or $5,000 in the hole, but we come over here and we win $600 off of putting $100 in, we think that we're up. You see what I mean? So that's another illusion that you're going to be in the midst of. You're going to be delusional, and then you're going to be in a bad mind state because you're thinking that's a new win, when really you're nowhere near to getting the money back that you've lost. And on top of that, you're exposing yourself to this addiction, because that's really what it is. It's an addiction. It's predatory on your mind, and it's hard to really like shake that. It's hard to shake that because money is your livelihood, but you're betting your livelihood, things that you need, your currency that you need to survive. You see what I mean? So that's how it'll ruin my life, almost ruined my life, but how it'll ruin many people's lives is because you're betting your livelihood. Pretty much, your currencies are pretty much your livelihood because you need money to survive. You need money to get, for resources and stuff to, food and all that other stuff like that, housing and all that stuff like there. That's what makes it so frustrating. That's what makes it so depressing because when you lose the very thing that you need in order to get those things, it's terrifying and it's extremely depressing, puts your mood down and all that stuff right there. You see what I mean? So I just wanted to give a quick little tidbit about how it almost ruined my life of being a compulsive gambler. You're constantly thinking about gambling, you're constantly thinking about betting, you're constantly thinking about your next bet. You're thinking about what you're going to win. You're not appreciative of the money that you're making. You're not appreciative of the lifestyle that you have right now, the blessings that you do have. So you're constantly thinking about that. That's the mindset of a compulsive gambler, and that's why it'll ruin your life. Because as things are tearing down around you, you don't think about anybody else's well-being. You don't think about. You don't even try to. You don't even take accountability for the fact that you're the reason why you're in the position that you're in. Why your bank account is in the negatives all the time, and you got to keep refilling the money of the negatives every time you get paid, and paying all these loans off every time you get paid, and all this other stuff. You owe so much money, so you can't even have your paychecks and all this other stuff. All your money's owed out, and all your money is already just going down the trash can in these casinos. That's basically what it is. It feel like when you go to the casino and lose your money, you feel like you just go up there, throw the money in the trash can, and leave. But you just spend a hell of a lot of time doing it, and it's frustrating the entire time. But anyway, thank you. It's Noto Addiction here, and remember, guys, a gambler never wins until they quit. I'm out.